The first one to do that, I bet you never knew that. Back like a tailbone, who you got the tail on? If it ain't about me, about whole D, about face. If you ain't on higher, learn it. The soda in the pot and the fire, burn it. This shit is so dope, you might wanna be my guest. This shit is so dope, you might wanna be my.
You know, I'm just thinking, right? Like, everybody that has been in my channel, or people that I know in real life, they told me to review this anime. And there are a lot of anime critics that reviewed this anime a long time ago, like when they became a YouTuber. I'm just now reviewing AKIRA. But I feel like the reason why I haven't done it is because people have already reviewed it. So I didn't think I would get a lot of views. I might not get a lot of views reviewing this. But anime reviews is my biggest hit on my channel. That's the reason why I barely review movies and why I'm beginning not to touch games either. But it depends on how I feel. But yeah, prove me wrong by watching this review, because I think my opinion may shock some people when it comes to how I feel about this project. AKIRA is a 1988 Japanese animated cyberpunk action film directed by Katsuhiro Otomo. I said his name before. I must have reviewed another one of his projects. In 1988, the Japanese government drops an atomic bomb on Tokyo after ESP experiments on children go AWOL. In 2019, 31 years after the nuking of the city, Kaneda, a bike gang leader, tries to save his friend Tetsuo from a secret government project. This anime was based in 2019. I'm pretty sure people that was watching this in 1988, hell, even people that was watching this in the 90s, wouldn't expect the world will look like the way AKIRA did. And we're slowly getting there. We're actually kind of there already. Now don't get it twisted. This anime is ahead of its time, especially when it comes to the visuals. This anime was made in 1988, and a good friend of mine by the name of Mike Kinnaman, big shout out to him. He told me that he's seen this in theaters when this movie was released. I can't imagine this being in a big screen. But I was a kid watching this shit. I was only 7 years old. This is before I even knew anything about animes. This is when I thought animes was cartoons. I was introduced to this shit on my cousin's birthday. His father took him out to an electronics store, and he bought him this DVD. And he thought it looked awesome. It just showed a guy with a red jacket walking to a red bike. And red is his favorite color, and he always loved motorcycles. So he decided to buy that for him. And we all watched it. And it was not what we was expecting at all. Yeah. This was the very first anime that I've ever watched. And for an anime that's like this, with a story like this, to be watched at only 7 years old, look, man, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's not just the what they show you, it's the story itself. Nobody by that age is gonna understand this. I don't think anybody by the age of 13 would understand this fucking film. This is one of these movies that you have to keep watching over and over and over. But honestly, the story of it is not really that confusing. It's just how they explain it through the project. But scratch all that. This anime is great. This anime was mind-blowing. And when I showed this to Sabrina, because I'm trying to get her into the anime lore, she's only 26 years old. I just got her into watching Berserk. I got her into watching The Promised Neverland. I got her into watching a lot of shit. Listen, if you're gonna be, oh damn it, hold on one second. I forgot to put the AKIRA box on display. I normally forget to do that shit when I do my review. Comic Kid was the first anime review I did before I did this one. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. This anime was great. I loved it so much, and I still love it now. And for those who have not watched AKIRA for some goddamn good reason and you love anime, it's like you are into basketball, but you don't know the major basketball stars. This is the star of animes right here. And you have not watched it? I would smack the shit out of you. But how are you going to continue watching this review? The anime picks up at a very fair pace, but it's actually pretty understandable. As soon as the anime starts, it shows the atomic bomb already blowing up Japan. And I thought it was going to show us how Japan was, but I think anybody that lived in Japan in 1988 already knew how it was. So they just show the bombing, and then it just shows like the whole narration of the project when we just get hit with these dark, deep, twisted drums in the background. Doom, boom, doom, boom. I can't play the music. I don't want to get copyrighted. But you just have to just hear me say it. But it hits you, it sinks you in to what's next after you continue watching this project. And as you continue watching this is when they show us how things are in 2018, how things is in Japan, how high tech things is. And I actually liked how they did all this. And I have to give it praise because of the visuals. Like I said, the anime is very, very ahead of its time. It was giving us cyberpunk vibes mixed with modern things that we see today. Don't get it twisted. You're not gonna see cars hovering in midair. You're not gonna see motherfucking robots, self-doing things for people. No, it was actually pretty believable now, They did have some high-tech things, but it was like kind of minimal, and it was kind of it was in a way where it was acceptable. So it's like what happens if you mix this modern day and age with Blade Runner in a way, or if you want to go into a blunter aspect, it's like seeing a transformer in a junkyard. They mix the cyberpunk vibes as well as modern day society, just so we can be synced in but not really pulled away with the fictionalized gestures of the anime project. And they have done that well here, especially when it came to the visual side of things, and it has to be praised because with a 1988 project, I've seen a lot of animes made back in, and it looked like it was made in 1988. The anime looked good in VHS, it looks damn good on DVD, it looks fantastic on Blu-ray, and it looks beautiful in 4K. I own the digital version of the 4K movie. I had to buy the physical. But going back into the story, when we get pulled in after the whole bombing, this is when we are shown the aspects of just how people are living their lives. But when they show this is when we introduce to the characters that's going to carry on to the project. Like Kaida and Tetsuo, the whole anime is literally based on them, their daily activity, and just the paths they are going to take when it comes to the project continuing. And I'm gonna have to be honest, I wasn't expecting the anime to be throwing a lot of shit at me all at once. And I think that may be the reason why a lot of people was confused, because the story starts right after the bombing. How they obtain Tetsuo and how Kaida is trying to work his way to get him back. And they show this in the middle of a freaking bike mini gang war when riots are coming in and trying to obtain the streets by gaining it back under control. And this is when we're hit with the action, we're hit with a lot of suspense, people are getting fucked up, people are getting hit with pipes and shit, and I'm like, what is going on? And it really confused me a lot, but it was literally showing you that even though that it took place way after the whole bombing incident, people are out of their minds. People are crazy, and it pulled me in a lot. But this is when I was beginning to have a problem with the project. They showed us the action. They showed us intense scenes of them riding their bikes, and we're just getting hooked in with the action sequences. But there was really light pacing when it comes to Tetsuo and Kaida. Only thing we know about them is them being biker gangs, and they known each other since grade school. But name one good thing about Kaida that's faithful. You can't. Name one thing that's faithful about Tetsuo. You can't. The only thing that you can name, that you can point about both of them, is that Kaida was always the leader. He was always the boss. He was always a person that pushed people into the limits of him doing things the right way by making other people do it the right way, do things correctly too. But Tetsuo, he lived under his shadow, is what he was essentially looking at, and he was kind of jealous of Kaida because of that. So you feel this breakage of their whole bond separating, but you don't get immersed to it because you can't relate to it. You can't feel it because they don't really show how it all started. They don't even show when they begin into turning backs on each other. It all starts when Tetsuo gets apprehended by the government. And when he gets apprehended by the government, this is when I was beginning to like the anime a lot, because when it comes to the government, we know that they're fucked up. We know the government hide things. We know the government try to reveal certain things, but try to damage control in the public. The government has done very fucking heinous things. The motherfuckers probably listening to me right now. But anyway, I like how they have shown the dark side of the government in this project, to the point where they was doing experiments on Tetsuo because they predicted there was something special about him. That's the reason why they abducted him in the first place. But when they was doing these experiments on him and running these tests on him, he wanted to escape, the whole government agency, because he did not know what the hell they was doing to him. But we begin to understand, because they kind of explained everything in the project when the government was beginning to talk to the army, and they was literally indicating the whole situation, saying that if Tetsuo loses his control, are you willing to handle the consequences? And the reason why they say this is because Tetsuo has an ability inside of him that can awaken in any moment. That's the reason why they abducted him in the first place. But Tetsuo don't know this, and then when he notices this, I think you know where I'm getting to with this. When he notices this, he feels like he's gifted, and he feels like he can be in control now. So this is when the whole bond begins to break with him and Kaida. But again, I did not feel no immersion at all. I just felt like, okay, he thinks he's a badass, and Kaida wants to put him in his place. I did not know whose side to take because I kind of understood Tetsuo, but I didn't feel his drive. I kind of understood Kaida, but I did not feel his reason. So I feel like the only thing I did not like about this project was the fact that I did not get enough pacing with both of them for me to fully understand their motivation. And this can probably be easily regarded when it comes to you reading the mangas, the graphic novels, the books, but fuck all that shit. I feel like if you're going to make a screen project based on the books, then you have to make it completely accurate or add more things to it. And if you're gonna take away some things to it, you're gonna hurt the franchise when it comes to things being done the way you want them to be. So no, it's a flaw. Fuck that. The anime's major power of this whole project is the fact that when they show Tetsuo, when they show Kaida, they show two crooked people trying to better themselves when it comes to them having certain things around them and people relying on them. And with Kaida, he had the biker gangs relying on him. He had some other people relying on him as well for him to make the right choice. So he was already in a corrupted state, trying to better himself and trying to save Tetsuo. Meanwhile, you got Tetsuo breaking bad, going rogue, because he realized that he has a special ability and he is trying to obtain everything that he thinks that's his, that Kaida has taken away from him. So at this point, people that's motivating him is other people around the city that is thinking that he's a fucking god, which calling him AKIRA itself. Which AKIRA is literally this myth, this boogeyman that people talks about in this whole film, saying that, oh, this must be AKIRA. This is AKIRA, the person who did the bombing in the first place. And it's like, okay, I get it. And I feel like a lot of people that don't that review this project don't really talk about it because they don't really know much about it. But I feel like if I'm gonna review this project, I gotta let y'all guys know what this project is about, so I can let y'all guys know what I like and dislike about it. But yes, this is why Tetsuo feels like he's a god, because he feels as if he's walking under AKIRA's footsteps. But this is where the complications become more adequate when it comes to him using the power in his own hands. And this is when we begin to see more sci-fi aspects of this anime as well. And I liked it. I feel like if you're gonna show us some government aspects of this anime when it comes to them doing things towards human beings, what would happen if it goes wrong? And they show that here on this project, and that's when people, including myself as a kid, was beginning to lose our shit. We was like, what the hell? But to narrow this whole thing down to a whim so people can understand, when the anime ended, people think it wasn't a bad ending. Some people thought it was a terrible ending. Some people thought that it was a confusing ending. I think it was all the above. The anime, like the last 5 minutes of the anime, was very, very like eye-dropping. And all it was just Kaida and Tetsuo just going to their final confrontations with each other, trying to sell their differences. Kaida trying to prove to Tetsuo that, he can do better, and Tetsuo trying to prove to Kaida that I'm better than you. one person trying to get over their problems and one person gaining too much control and seeing what happens when you have too much control, too much power to control. Both of them was fighting their inner demons. One of them passed, the other one failed. And that's when all hell broke loose. And it showed you the consequences of what would happen when a person is not smart and not wise, and above all, don't have enough wisdom to control all that power around them. I see this happen a lot in daily activity. When people want to be in charge, when people want to take responsibility, and they fall apart with their own emotions. And that was the big lesson of this whole project. And I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was beautifully done. But I feel like it would be even more of a masterpiece, again, if the pacing of the characters was more warranted, to the point where when I saw one character going over their differences while the other one was falling into their flaws, I would feel for that shit. Hell, even with the biker gangs, I did not feel no compassion with the biker gangs at all. Even when someone was getting killed off, I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's see what Tetsuo and Kaida is doing. But I think that's the only problem with the anime. The story was great, the choreography was good, the pacing was great, but the character development could have been done way better when it comes to the whole project being on the hinges of people even to this day calling it the best anime of all time. I highly doubt it is. But it can debatably be the best visual anime of all time. We can fight for that one, especially when it was made in 1988. There's not a lot of animes that was made back then that had this much good quality. Name an anime other than AKIRA and Ghost in the Shell that is getting a 4K release that was made back then. You can't. So yes, you can call it one of the best visual animes of all time, but best anime of all time on all aspects? No. You can get mad at me all you want. I'm not hating on the anime, I'm just being realistic. Overall, this project was great. It was fucking good. I recommend anybody that has not seen AKIRA to please check it out. It needs to be added to your watch radar if you are into anime and you have not watched this anime. I still don't. That doesn't register with me. I don't get it. Like, how the hell you watch anime but you never? It's one thing if you've never seen AKIRA but you have never heard of it. This generation, oh my God, this generation will be like. It's like what Kanye West said on a Life of Pablo album on a song, No More Parties in LA, and No More Parties in LA. No More Parties in LA. These kids in this generation will be our real victims. Like, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? This is, I don't. Let's go on to the rating. I'm gonna have to give AKIRA an A. Oh man. I actually don't have anything else to say. Normally I end the anime rating with like a footnote, but I don't got nothing else to say. I just gotta wait for the bell now. For those who's watching this review, where y'all from? Y'all y'all live in Delaware or in Ohio or Pennsylvania? I've always wanted to go to Pennsylvania. I've been to Italy once. And it was funny because the people in Italy thought I was Italian. My girlfriend took me there on our trip, and I tried being Italian for a while until they started speaking Italian to me. So when they started speaking Italian to me, I didn't know what the hell to say, and I'm like, okay, that was just, I'm just trying to kill time. There was this other time where, all right, that's the bell. Y'all, class is dismissed. That's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned to my upcoming reviews and anime videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and where the hell is my glasses? Oh, there it is. You guys have a good day, huh?